So I wanted to talk about how I got here. First, I want to say that it's so very important for people to be proactive in their own health. I really felt as though, and so many people have told me, you are one of the healthiest people I know. I've never been hospitalized. I've never had a broken bone. I rarely get sick. I eat well. I exercise. Um, I just, I felt as though I was really healthy. So when my body started telling me things contrary to that, I was very lax in doing what I needed to do to handle it. So if your body is telling you things, listen. um, so probably around March of 15, I discovered a lump through a self-exam, and it was relatively small, smaller than a kernel of corn, but I was concerned, but again, not overly concerned because I'm healthy. So I made an appointment and went to my OBGYN, and she examined me and verified that it wasn't like fibrous tissue or anything like that. It was indeed a lump, and I needed to get some additional care. So she recommended me to a specialist, which I saw around 2 weeks later. Um, he examined me and did an ultrasound. The results of that ultrasound, he felt as though it was a cyst. It didn't look dangerous, it didn't look cancerous, it didn't look aggressive. So he gave me the option of either having it surgically removed, being not dealing with it any further and just having it surgically removed, or watching and waiting 6 months. So I researched surgery. At that time, surgery was about $600, and so I was like, it's just a cyst. No, it doesn't seem aggressive. Let's just watch it. So by August of 15, the lump had changed significantly. Now it was about the size of an almond. It had changed shape. It had become very sensitive to the touch, difficult to lay on my left side. So I went back to the specialist, and he examined me again and said, okay, so now are you ready to get this lump out? I said, yeah. So I scheduled my surgery. Now, a little nugget. When I scheduled the surgery, at this time it was about September of 15. The surgery now was about $1,200. So I called to verify the cost and to ask why it was so different, because I was getting the same procedure. So, good thing to know is that most doctors estimate their costs at the beginning of the year. And so if by mid-year to towards the end of the year, they have not made the revenue that they anticipated at the beginning of the year, the cost of services may increase. And that's what happened. So, again, I'm not concerned about my health. It wasn't a red flag for me to hurry up and get this procedure done. So I said, well, now I'll reschedule my surgery for the beginning of 16 because costs would have dropped. So I canceled my surgery. Now it's scheduled for 16, January 16. So indeed the cost did drop. But 2 days before my surgery date, my surgeon called and said, I've been looking over your files and I see that you have not had a mammogram, which is correct because I found the lump through a self-exam, not through any testing or a mammogram. And we only did the ultrasound. So he wanted to be sure that we were able to get all of the mass, and he was able to get a good picture of what it looked like. So we scheduled a mammogram 2 days before surgery. When I got the mammogram, and a mammogram, mind you, it is not horrible, it's not scary, it's not painful, it's a little uncomfortable, but nothing to be afraid of. So I got the mammogram, and you stay as you are after you get it read to be able to get the results right there. After the images are read, you stay for the results. So the nurse who did my mammogram came to the waiting room and asked me if there was somebody that would be with me when they read the results. And so that kind of, I had a question mark go up in my mind, and I said, should I be concerned? She said, well, I just think it'll be better if somebody is with you. So what we found that day was that there were calcium deposits in my left breast in addition to the lump. And so that raised a red flag, because many times if there's a lump that is also combined with calcium deposits, it is a good indicator of cancer. So based on those results, my surgery was canceled, and now a biopsy of the lump and the calcium deposits was scheduled. So 2 days later, I went to get the biopsy, and they biopsied the lump, they biopsied the calcium deposits, and then I just had to wait for the results. So the beginning of the following week is when I got a call from my surgeon, who received the results and said that it was cancer. So there was a flurry of different emotions. I don't know that I was necessarily shocked, probably because the nurse at the mammogram clearly saw something that was concerning to her, because she said that I should probably have somebody with me when the results came in. So in a way, I was prepared to hear that news, but in a way, you're never really prepared to hear that news. So my parents happened to be staying with me that week. My sister had just had a baby. They were there helping with the baby. And so after I got off the phone with my doctor, I kind of just blurted it out to them. And we began the process that was a whirlwind and has just kind of now stopped being a whirlwind. Although I still have many, many treatments ahead of me, there's a different perspective that I now have that I didn't at that time. I think the biggest takeaway that I could say in this particular point in the process is you cannot get out of the driver's seat of this process. I get my treatment at Northside Hospital in Atlanta, and they provide you with what's called a nurse navigator that helps you navigate everything breast cancer. So anything about insurance issues or symptom issues or what to expect, there's a nurse that's on call for you to be able to help walk you through this journey. And through my first phone call with her, she let me know that cancer is so much a battle of the mind and a battle of the will. And you have to determine that cancer is not going to drive you, but you are going to drive it. Because as soon as you get out of the driver's seat and allow things, either emotions or fear or recommendations of others that you don't totally understand, to start moving your process ahead, then you lose control. And that provides an opportunity for you to also lose perspective of what your outcome is. And ultimately, your outcome is to win your battle with cancer. And so I determined within myself that, number one, everybody in my support system, my close circle of family and friends that I call on, had to have the same outcome, the same vision, the same desire that I had. And that was to win. That was to win this battle with cancer. Death was never an option. Death was never something that I even thought about. Not beating this disease has never been something that I accept. And so I cannot allow anybody around me to accept that either. So as I begin to tell people that were close to me, that were my support system, I also prefaced it with the fact that if you are going to be close to me, if you're going to be visiting me, if you're going to be calling me, if I'm going to be trusting you with my information, I also have to know that you're believing the same thing that I'm believing. And if you're not, and if you're not there yet, that's okay. But you just can't be in my inner circle, because everybody on my team wins. And if you are not in the mindset of we win, then I just have to put you at arm's length for a while, because right now this is a battle for my life, and I can't have anybody in this battle that's on the fence. And people are very understanding of that. But again, that goes into being the driver of your journey. You have to be okay with telling people things that may be hard for them to hear, because it's in your best interest. And so I began to be okay with saying no to things. I began to be okay with not allowing everybody to visit me. I began to be okay with setting parameters around myself, because I'm the only person that truly knows how I feel in this situation. And it's up to me to be my own advocate. And so I've been a cheerleader for myself. I've been very proud of how the first month and a half of this journey has gone. Because things did, after the diagnosis, and because the diagnosis was so aggressive, things began to be a whirlwind, because they want to start chemotherapy right away. And before you can start chemotherapy, you have to have a battery of tests to make sure your heart is strong enough to take it, to make sure that the cancer hasn't spread to any other parts of your body. So you have to have MRIs and PET scans and CAT scans and EKGs and test upon test upon test. And then you get so much information thrown at you, and treatment options, and it becomes almost to the point where you want to do nothing, because the thought of doing all of this is so overwhelming. And so for the first probably 2 weeks, I was overwhelmed and I was not prepared. But at some point, you either have to put on your armor and get ready for battle, or allow it to consume you. And that's consuming me was not an option. So I geared up, I got in the battle, and I feel like I am more prepared for this journey than I would have ever thought that I would be. So thank you for listening to my story. In the next few days, weeks, and months, I'll continue to post videos. I'll continue to let you know how I'm doing. I'll also allow you to hear from my support system and get the perspective of those who are caregivers, and share some things that may help you if you're dealing with cancer, supporting someone who's dealing with cancer, or just feeling like you're in a battle that seems as though the current situation outweighs what's in front of you. So thank you for your time and your attention and your follows, and I appreciate all your love, your hope, your support, and your we win, I win, we all win attitude. I'm chasing normal, and so I refuse to see myself as anything but that. Healed, whole, cancer-free, and I so look forward to meeting who they call NED, and NED stands for No Evidence of Disease.